The Golden State Warriors have officially made their stance clear, and it's sending a powerful message to the entire NBA. Jonathan Kuminga, one of the most talented and promising young players on their roster, has become the subject of intense trade rumors. But here's the bombshell: the Warriors are not just going to let him go for cheap. They've reportedly set a firm, no-nonsense price tag for any team hoping to snag Kaminga in a potential sign-and-trade deal, and let me tell you, this demand shows just how highly Golden State values the 21-year-old rising star. This is not your typical let's shop our young guy and see what happens scenario. No, this is the Warriors drawing a line in the sand and saying, if you want Jonathan Kuminga, you better bring a star or don't even bother picking up the phone. And honestly, this makes total sense. Kuminga's rapid rise this past season has been nothing short of remarkable. After a rocky start to his NBA career, where he struggled to find consistent minutes under Steve Kerr, Kaminga has transformed into one of the league's most exciting two-way forwards. His combination of athleticism, strength, and improved scoring touch has turned heads everywhere. Golden State knows exactly what they have in Kaminga. He's not just a role player, he's the kind of young, explosive athlete who could become an all-star in the right situation. And with Curry, Klay, and Draymond all inching toward the twilight of their careers, the Warriors are in a tough spot. They want to win now, but they also don't want to throw away their future. That's why any team interested in a sign-and-trade for Kaminga is going to have to pay a premium. According to league insiders, the Warriors' demand is straightforward. If a team wants Kaminga, they must offer a high-level veteran player who can contribute immediately to a championship push. Think established stars like Pascal Siakam, Brandon Ingram, or even a borderline all-NBA caliber guard. The Warriors aren't interested in draft picks or projects. They want proven talent players who can step onto the floor next to Stephen Curry and make an impact on day one. Why such a high price? Because Kaminga is only getting better. This past season, he averaged career highs across the board, showcasing not just his ability to attack the rim with ferocity, but also his improved mid-range shooting, his willingness to defend the opponent's best player, and his growing confidence in clutch moments. At just 21, his ceiling is sky-high. Teams like the Toronto Raptors, New Orleans Pelicans, and Orlando Magic have all been rumored to have interest, but the question is who's willing to meet the Warriors' steep demands? Let's talk about Kaminga's role in Golden State and why this situation has become so tricky. The Warriors are built around spacing, ball movement, and shooting, and Kaminga, early in his career, struggled to fit into that free-flowing system. He's a slasher, an athlete who thrives in transition and isolation plays. But as he's developed, he's learned to adapt to the Warriors' style, cutting at the right moments, playing tough defense, and finding ways to use his athleticism to open up scoring opportunities for himself and his teammates. Now, Kaminga's potential is too big to ignore. The Warriors know that if they trade him away without getting a superstar in return, it could be a decision they regret for years to come. We're talking about a player who could easily become the next face of a franchise, and you don't just give that away unless you're getting something monumental in return. The tension here is all about timelines. Stephen Curry is still playing at an MVP level, but how many elite years does he have left? 2? Maybe 3? The Warriors' front office is under immense pressure to maximize those final prime years. They don't want to waste Curry's brilliance on a retooling phase. That's why they're even entertaining the idea of moving Kaminga. But again, it would have to be for a piece that pushes them back into true title contention. Imagine a scenario where the Warriors trade Kaminga and some salary filler for a star like Pascal Siakam. Suddenly, you've got a front court of Siakam and Draymond, with Curry and Klay stretching the floor and Andrew Wiggins providing his usual two-way play. That's a lineup that can compete with Denver, Minnesota, and even Boston. But would Toronto bite on that offer? And is Siakam worth the long-term sacrifice of giving up a 21-year-old potential superstar? These are the tough questions Golden State is facing right now. The front office, led by Mike Dunleavy Jr., is making it clear that they won't be bullied or rushed into a bad trade. They've reportedly told multiple teams that if they can't get a star back, they're more than happy to keep Kaminga and let him grow into his role. In fact, some insiders believe the Warriors see Kaminga as the bridge to their next era, the guy who can lead the team once Curry eventually steps away from the game. But let's not overlook the fact that Kaminga himself wants a bigger role. There have been whispers for months that he's not thrilled with the inconsistency of his minutes under Steve Kerr. He's proven he can score 20+ on any given night, yet there are games where he barely sees the floor in crunch time. That kind of frustration is normal for a young player with his level of talent. If the Warriors don't give him the expanded role he wants, it could lead to tension, and that's where the idea of a sign and trade starts to make sense for both sides. Fans are divided on this issue. Many believe Kaminga is untouchable, that trading him now would be a massive mistake, similar to when the Lakers traded away a young Brandon Ingram who later blossomed into a star in New Orleans. Others think the Warriors have no choice but to use Kaminga as their best trade chip if they want to win another championship during Curry's career. The debate rages on social media, with keep Kaminga and trade Kaminga both trending at various times. Let's consider the potential teams that could realistically meet the Warriors' demands. The Toronto Raptors make sense because they're looking for a rebuild, and Kaminga fits their timeline perfectly. A deal centered around Siakam or OG Anunoby could work. The New Orleans Pelicans could be another option if they decide to shake things up. Perhaps a package involving Brandon Ingram could get it done. The Orlando Magic, with their surplus of young guards and wings, might also be tempted to make a move if they think Kaminga can be a franchise cornerstone. However, all of these scenarios hinge on the Warriors being willing to part with their young star. And right now, the message is clear. It's going to take an absolute blockbuster offer to pry Kaminga away from Golden State. From a basketball perspective, trading Kaminga is a double-edged sword. On one hand, he's still developing, and the Warriors can't afford to wait for him to become a star while Curry's window closes. On the other hand, Kaminga's unique skill set, elite athleticism, improving defense, and growing offensive arsenal makes him a perfect candidate to take over once the veterans retire. It's a classic win now versus win later dilemma. Let's imagine the Warriors keep Kaminga. What does that future look like? Pairing him with Brandon Podziemski, Moses Moody, and Tracy Jackson-Davis could give Golden State a young, dynamic core to build around. Add in the mentorship of Curry and Draymond, and you've got a recipe for sustained success. But can the Warriors afford to wait for that future while teams like the Denver Nuggets and Minnesota Timberwolves dominate the West? This is why the Warriors' demands for Kaminga are so high. They're essentially saying, if we trade our future, we want to win right now. Anything less is off the table. Jonathan Kuminga has all the tools to become the next great two-way forward. His ability to guard multiple positions, explode in transition, and finish at the rim is already elite. If he develops a consistent three-point shot, he could become nearly unstoppable. That kind of upside doesn't come around often, and the Warriors know it. As the sign and trade rumors heat up, all eyes will be on Golden State's front office. Will they hold their ground and keep Kaminga as their future cornerstone? Or will they pull the trigger on a blockbuster trade that gives Curry and the veterans one more shot